What's up, ego hackers? Welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing ISFJs. It's pretty cool because we haven't actually discussed ISFJs in a long time. And I know that many of you are constantly trying to figure out why that is. And it's because unless it's regular seasonal content, we don't have very many ISFJ Acolyte members who are asking ISFJ related questions. So if you'd like more ISFJ questions or questions about a particular type, become an Acolyte member today. Besides, why would anyone want to be an Acolyte member? Well, for basically $300, you get 3 questions that gets answered on the videos. You get all of the journeyman content behind the paywall. And you also get enough coaching credits for a verification session for your type for just $300. So that's that's 3 months of time. So $300 and 300 months of time. Why wouldn't you do that? csjoseph.life/members. What are you doing with your life? I was like, Mr. CSJ, you charge way too much. Hi, my name is Eric Thor, and I'm an edgelord, and being an edgelord that I have the right to judge everybody else in terms of how they charge, for their coaching or for their pricing or whatever. And it's like, bro, just because you don't know what you're worth doesn't mean I don't know what I'm worth. All right, so why don't you just stop talking, or actually keep talking and give me more attention? How about that? Let the haters hate. Let them hate. And all you people on Anthrax's server who hate my guts, keep hating. Keep hating, please. Keep hating. Just serves to feed the machine, if you know what I'm saying. A machine that I know you love, right? Anyway, back on track here. The ISFJ question, which is, how do I know that extroverted feeling parent is actually, developed within an ISFJ? And this is a really good question for people to ask. It's actually a really good question. Because what ends up happening when extroverted feeling parent is underdeveloped in an ISFJ, this is basically how an ISFJ is entirely irresponsible. What they end up doing is that they end up outsourcing their thinking, as well as their social behavior, or what social norms and what traditions they actually follow, and then force other people in their lives to follow, basically. And when that happens, it's usually because they are outsourcing their that judgment basically to people in authority. Chris Taylor, God bless him, often talks about how, when your parent function is underdeveloped, you're actually leading with your trickster function instead of your parent function, which I have found that to be entirely fascinating, and at times I think that is entirely true. Me being a UDUF ENTP, my TI parent was not exactly allowed to have any room in my immediate family growing up under my unconscious development from my octogram perspective. And what ended up happening is that I ended up not really getting the opportunity to use my TI parent at all, because I would have to be under the thumb of my mother's TI child and the thumb of my father's TI inferior. So around my family, I'm not even allowed to actually be a TI user, because they take up all of the space in the room, available space in the room, and available space in our family macro psyche, basically, for introverted thinking. As a result, I was forced as a child to adapt to that situation and actually lead with my introverted feeling trickster. And as you can imagine, that caused me as a child to behave pretty poorly, especially when it comes to my parents and my parents parenting me, etc. I would behave very poorly, and that would really, really suck. Like really suck. We're talking like crazy. My God, the people at the sauna across the street are watching me. They're like, oh my God, this guy is crazy. Yeah, well, I am crazy, don't get me wrong. So what's the point? The point is that when you're leading with your trickster function, your life gets pretty chaotic. It gets pretty crazy, right? When you're leading with your trickster function. And when you lead with your trickster function, there's another thing that actually happens to you in your mind as well. And that is something known as cognitive looping. I have to give credit where it is due when I talk about cognitive looping. So here on YouTube, cognitive looping was something that was first presented to the MBTI blogosphere here on YouTube by a man by the name of Dave Powers. It's always like some kind of madhouse down here in downtown Coeur d'Alene. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the French Quarter in New Orleans, or Nolens, as a lot of people like to say, down there in Nolens. So yeah. So cognitive looping becomes a huge, huge issue for many people, especially ISFJs. And cognitive looping basically leads to chaos in a person's life. And Dave Powers presented the subject, but we've gone ahead and refined that subject, which is basically, it's when your hero and your child function are looping together. He calls it jumping, basically, when you're not really using your auxiliary function, also known as parent function. And that's because it's underdeveloped. And it's because you're leading with your trickster function, basically from a parental slot point of view. So, and I'm really thankful Chris Taylor presented that topic when we're talking about cognitive reflection. You know, it's the battleground of responsibility, basically. And the parent function is basically losing the battleground of responsibility as a person ages. Now, if you want to learn more about the battleground of responsibility and about cognitive reflection, you need to watch Season 18, Cognitive Mechanics. That is behind the paywall at csjoseph.life/members.
No, I've seen you guys all day and I was like, fuck.
So yeah, that is the, apparently it's a big costume day, but you know, I already am a character, right? So like, I kind of like am in costume every time. Whatever. That guy that just walks around in town wearing black all the time, you know what I'm saying? With some like serious Miami Vice vibes going on for some reason. Filming. All right, give me a minute. Some guy's asking me what I'm doing. He wants me to come over to him as soon as I'm done filming here. So yeah. Anyway, be that as it may. So when you're looking at cognitive looping, you know, it creates a lot of chaos in one's life. And what happens to the ISFJ is that, like, from a TI child perspective, right? From a TI child perspective, it's like, I know what I should do. I know what I should do. I know what I should do. And then when that happens, it ends up causing and creates a bunch of crap in their life, because it's like, oh, I'm super heroic, my introverted sensing hero. That basically means I can do anything. I can take on any obligation. I can take on any duty because I'm strong enough. And you know, it's like, really, it's just a really bad situation. What's up, man?
What are you doing?
Filming my podcast. Back to the show. Gotta love all the interruptions today. So, I think I should. It's kind of like the little train that could, right? I think I could, I think I could, I think I could, I think I can. But it's more like, I think I should. And then what happens is that the ISFJ becomes so overly obligated that they drag everyone else down in their life. It's like a horrible situation, right? And they focus their attention on too many things instead of narrowing their attention where it should go. And then at the same time, they end up finding themselves obligated to authorities that they shouldn't, obligated to traditions that they shouldn't, when they should actually be using, when they should actually be aware that it's their duty to be like rebelling against authority, you know, with their ENTP subconscious. You know, and that's a huge problem. A lot of people don't even like realize how that's a big deal. They just don't. It's really ridiculous. Entirely ridiculous. So then the ISFJ gets even worse and worse and worse. But what does developed FE parent look like? It's when they are actually willing to challenge authority, when they're willing to rebel against authority, because they're like, well, wait a minute, why do you have value? They start questioning authority. That's like the first sign of FE parent development. They start questioning authority. Why do you have value? Why do you get a voice? Why do you matter, right? And it's constantly asking that question over and over and over. Why do you matter? Why should anyone care? Why do I care? Like, why is the Bible the infallible holy word of God, right? Like, it's all about questioning authority, and it's any authority that could be questioned. That's the point, right? It's all about that. It's literally the most important thing. But a lot of people don't even realize. They don't even realize that that's just kind of how it is. Because usually, the ISFJ is like the archetype that just is the follower. It follows everything. The thing is, though, is that it needs to be a rogue. It needs to be the leader in rebellion. It's this very dutiful knight, but it needs to go rogue, right? This is why the ISFJs, I highly recommend you read Miyamoto Musashi's Japanese Stoicism work known as Dokudo, also known as the Way of the Ronin, also known as the Way of Walking Alone. If you are a knight, right, you serve a lord, right? And as much as like you are a samurai, like out of all of the 16 types, the ISFJ archetype is the samurai, right? Samurai is everything, right? They are the samurai. The thing is that a samurai, to be a samurai, you serve a lord. And if you do something wrong or you don't serve that lord properly, you are expected to commit seppuku, which is basically ritual suicide. Well, guess what? That's what ISFJs do all the time. They're literally committing ritual suicide every time they give their minds over to authorities, give their minds over to traditions, that they should be questioning that authority at all times. Should not the knight be like Barristan Selmy, who just decided, you know what, I'm not going to be your Lord Commander anymore. I'm leaving King's Landing and I'm going to go work for Daenerys Targaryen. It's the same thing. He went Ronin. He went rogue. Ronin. Rogue ninja. Rogue samurai. Rogue. He went rogue. That's the thing. Sarah Palin, she wrote the book Going Rogue. She's an ISFJ. Pay attention, okay? Proof of extroverted feeling parent development is based on going rogue, right? That's what it's about. It's all about going rogue. And once they go rogue, everything in their life will completely change for the better. It's all about going rogue. So make that happen. It's entirely important. It's like the most important thing for an ISFJ. And it is concrete proof and evidence that their extroverted feeling parent is either developed or is developing. But if they are not going rogue, if they're just being dutiful, if they're serving, serving as that dutiful knight without even questioning who they're serving and why they're serving it, that's a problem. You need to stay away from ISFJs like that. Just get away from them. Like, those people are like, no offense, but they become cancerous, basically, and destroy everyone's lives in the process. It sucks. It sucks entirely. It sucks for them, sucks for everyone else in there. So, I don't know how much of this video is going to be trimmed or edited because of all the interruptions, but hey, we'll leave that up to the production team to see what you guys want to see. So anyway, that's basically the answer to a point. Here's the thing: if you want to actually like go in deep on this answer, and you want to go even deeper, guess what? We have this product called Ego Hacking Your Fear. It's available at egohackingyourfear.com. Okay, check that out. The ISFJ section analyzes this entire situation really, really deep. And Ego Hacking Your Fear as a course is the sequel to our Season 19 product. Guess what? When you buy Ego Hacking Your Fear, you get all of Season 19 for free. Oh, and also Season 14 Part 1, the Golden Pairs. Just for being an Ego Hacking Your Fear customer. Get the pre-orders in now. It costs $97. It's good. The price is going to go up to $150 in like 2 weeks. So you may as well get in on this pre-order now. That's egohackingyourfear.com. Get in on it before you can, while you can. All right. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.